All right, guys, I'm going to start this off just for clarity. I'm not a financial advisor. I've never said that I am. I've never given anybody financial advice on this channel. That is not what I'm here to do. I'm here to give facts and state information. So here's what we know. There's a shit ton of videos on this thing all weekend long. Berta's staying public. Berta has now tweeted that he's resigned from his position at Metamaterials so he can stay public. I think, in my opinion, on that particular point, Meta's legal team probably said, shut the fuck up, stop talking, and he said, no, 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 no. We're going to keep getting this information out. Now, a couple of things I want to talk about today. The Ari Rubenstein issue. This is interesting for sure. I have a friend of mine who holds security licenses 6, 26, 63, and 51. I do have notes on a whiteboard in front of me. And he talked to me a lot yesterday about regulation best interests under the Security Exchange Act of 1934. This is on the FINRA website, okay? This establishes the best interest standard, okay? This guy, okay, over here, Ari Rubenstein, on the board, right? This guy helped create, okay, rules. Helped create rules on how to be transparent and act in the best interest of the public. And then he's under investigation, okay? Violates the same rule twice in 6 months. And yet somehow is still allowed to make a market. It's insanity. It's insanity. So my friend, who we'll call Yoda, with all these security licenses, he's on the enforcement side of things. And what he told me was when the Department of Labor rule came in like 2018, which on the internet says is no longer in effect. According to my buddy, it's 100% in effect and they have to go by it. So, he said that made it so crazy. And this is where I hope I hope this message gets to John Berta. Maybe send this to the legal team is what I'm thinking. They had to up their errors and omissions insurance when this rule came out by like tenfold what they were required to hold before. This is crazy. So my question is, could there be an errors and omission issue here, considering that FINRA allowed this thing to go to the sheets with the wrong information and used the QSIP attached to the dividend? This is definitely under false pretense. These guys out here saying, "Oh, it's trash," and we knew it was fraud all along. They used the same fucking QSIP number, man. So if that's the case, then how is this not a situation where you were sold something under false pretense? It's the same QSIP number. That alone should be due diligence. Oh, wait a minute. Look, I had these shares over here in this account. That's the QSIP number. I can buy them on this account. It's the same fucking QSIP number. Why would you not say that's okay? Why? Why? Because there was nefarious activities going on in the background that we didn't know about. It's not fair. It's not transparent. You can't do that. Forget fair. Life isn't fucking fair. It's not legal. Okay? There are legalities here. Okay? There are laws, securities laws that go in. Not to mention, let's use the term fiduciary responsibility here for a second. Okay? Your broker has a fiduciary responsibility to take care of this. This is not something that's going to go away, and all these YouTubers going, it's not tradable, it is what it is. Only the legacy shareholders. Again, they're confusing information. They're using information from the Torch merger with Meta to try and bring that here and use it in the same context. It's not. All of this entire thing changed when this became tradable. When this thing became tradable, fraud was obviously committed. We know that now. The fact that FINRA allowed this to happen and approved it now falls on their errors and omissions insurance. This is their error and omission. You are a company that operates a nonprofit. I don't give a fuck. You are still a business with statements all over your website that your intention is to protect the general public. That's not what happened here. That is not what happened here. Okay? Think about it in these terms of what's going on in this market right now. If you were to go play cards in a neighborhood card game and Johnny fucking dickhead down there cheats every single time you go, takes all your money because he's dealing off the bottom of the deck, what's going to happen? After 3 or 4 times of you freaking catching him, you're going to walk away. Okay? Why do they not care? Because they're just going to get the next neighbor to come sit at the table. And they're going to take his money too. This is snowballing into ridiculousness. Okay? We know all these frickin' stocks are like this. Why did they halt this thing? Let's take this as an example, or as a theory. If this thing squoze to an ungodly number, let's just say $200, which isn't ungodly, but will be reasonable. Let's say it squeezes to $200, okay? Or it squoze to $200. Now all of a sudden, okay, you have all these companies coming out of the woodwork going, we're going private. Why? Because what's the point of being on the stock market if you can't raise money? That's the whole idea of going on the stock market. So a company can raise money to continue to grow. If these people are just freaking adding more supply that doesn't exist on every single freaking stock, then how do you raise money? IPOs are not what they once were. Okay? How about, let's talk about, you want to say, oh, they stopped it and it was because of prior to an extraordinary event. Let's say the extraordinary event was going to be the squeeze. And then you got all these people saying, oh, it could never squeeze to that much money. Number one, we've seen plenty of stocks go up 3,000, 5,000%. I've seen it on the OTC market. It happens. Okay? And this one could have done the same exact thing. Oh, but by the way, on Friday, well, everybody says stocks can't squeeze that much. How did AMAM, is that what it was? AMAM squeeze 1,000%. Damn thing's been at 40 cents. Opened up originally at like $10, came all the way down. They shorted the shit out of it all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Then all of a sudden it squeezes to 1,000%. 124 million shares trade. And what? 124 million people just decided to fucking buy that day? Get the fuck out of here. There was short covering. Okay? Short covering is what drives that price up. When there's massive amounts of volume on that, you think people who bought this thing as a long-term gig are sitting there every single day friggin' just waiting to buy more? Absolutely not. Do people have alerts set? Sure. But the average person who's throwing money in their Robinhood account or their E-Trade account, they're not doing that. This is the entire thought process that this should be allowed and isn't criminal is just insane to me. And the fact that we can't, the community of investors can't come together and realize that it's not my stock, your stock, flipping bubblegum stock. All of them are like this, man. All of them are like this. I pointed it out the other day. Great companies, great up-and-coming companies. Somebody in the comments the other day said, stop investing in speculative stocks and start buying real companies. Oh, did you tell the fucking guy who bought Amazon under $1 that? Is that what you said to him? How about Apple? Okay? What about Apple? Apple, Amazon. How about Tesla? Did you tell him that? How about the teacher or the janitor who started investing in Ford 30 years ago? Did you tell them, stop holding a company? Oh, stop. Oh, cars are going to go out of business. Cars are not going to be here. We're going to be all flying around in spaceships. Did you tell him he was an idiot? It's not right, man. There's more of a thesis here than what people are looking at. And to sit here and go, oh, it was a scam. It was a scam by market makers who have a fiduciary responsibility to not do that. That's what the scam was here. Nobody pumped this thing and dumped. Did people maybe attach to it? Sure, I'm sure there were pumpers who attached to it. But the original guys in here were not pumping and dumping. Is everybody holding? I don't know. I don't know if everybody who ever talked about this stock is holding it. But what I do know, okay, is that there's a ton of people who believe in the oil and gas assets. Okay, you want to sit here and come at us and go, oh, well, oh, the company's trash. But then you know nothing about it. You know nothing about how much gas is there, oil's there. Let's just oil. Then tack on the natural gas that's there too. I mean, there's a thesis here behind this that made sense to a lot of people. And to get in on the ground floor of an oil company is most certainly, you could call it a speculative play, absolutely. But the entire stock market is speculation. Okay? Okay? The first Tesla that was sold was speculation. Speculation that it was going to work. Speculation that this was going to be the new thing. Speculation. That's what this freaking country is about. Is speculating. Speculating on what's going to grow. Speculating on what's going to fall. There's a bull and a bear thesis on any single stock you look at. You can't sit there and call everybody who was in this an idiot for getting scammed. Can't do it. Okay? Couple other things I wanted to touch on was, the Rubenstein thing. This guy, massive investigation. Not on the big board, on some regulatory board. Ali touches on that. He had more specifics on it. I'm not going to sit here and fancy computer stuff. I just want to come on and talk to you guys. I'm not going to do that. This isn't going to be like a money-making gig for me. I'm just here to vent and bring some information and try to dispel the bullshit part of the information that's out there. Somebody says to me in the comments, retail can't short OTC stocks, because I told the story about my friend the other day. Well, proved him wrong. He asked me in the comments, he says, well, what platform are they doing this on? Because retail can't do that. Oh, really? Okay, I don't know, because I'm not a fucking short seller. So I reached out to my buddy, said, hey, what platform is your boy shorting MMTLP on yesterday? Trade Zero. Then this guy says, oh, how many retail investors use Trade Zero? I don't fucking know. I don't have a damn count on how many people use Trade Zero, but there's obviously people out there. There's obviously people out there who are watching fucking YouTube. All of a sudden, this other guy, I forget what his handle was, or his YouTube channel, Laptop Legend or some shit like that. He put on there, he shorted the shit out of it. And all of this is fine. If you want to be a short seller, that's fine. That's cool. I get it. There's a bull side and there's a bear side. There's going to be two sides. The guy I like, who I learned a lot of my trading strategy from and broke my own damn rules, which is why I'm in this freaking situation to begin with. But the guy who's super uber smart and a very good trader that they demonize on here sometimes too is Ross Cameron. Ross Cameron made a video yesterday going, go short, get smoked. Why did the shorts get smoked on AM, but we can take away the sell button to prevent the shorts getting smoked on MMTLP? I saw another one that said, oh, once the price went to $6.19, that's when FINRA implemented the halt because the value of it was more than the value of NextBridge. Okay, well, if that's the case, better fucking shut down every stock that's overvalued. There's an argument on any single stock that it's overvalued. You can take frickin', people make arguments on Tesla all the time. People make arguments on Amazon and Apple all the time that they're overvalued. Stop them. U3 them in the interest of the public. In the interest of the public. Pull the U3 halt code because investors could wake up tomorrow and it could go to zero. Fuck out of here, man. FINRA screwed up, okay? FINRA screwed up on this one. They're going to fix this. This U3 has only been used 3 times on a domestic stock. And oh, by the way, never on an OTC stock. Never. Not one time. Now, all of a sudden, in this particular situation, and I'll tell you when this would have gone. Let's say the company had come out and said, oh, by the way, we sold the oil assets for $19 billion and our portion worked out to $50 a share. They would have ran it then because they knew what the buyout price was. The buyout price would have been $50. That's what they would have had to pay to cover their shares. But because there was no value and they were going to have to buy those shares back at market price, there was some meeting of the minds, I'm sure, on Wednesday night that said, oh, wait a minute. We got buy or sell orders in here for $1,000 a share. $1,000 a share, we can't allow that. This thing's going to be a disaster. What can we do? Nuclear option. U3 it. This is not going to hold up. It's not going to hold up in court. Okay? The narrative that you had to be a legacy shareholder of Torch is completely blown out of the water at this point. They made this thing tradable under the false pretense that it was the same exact thing as the Torch preferred share. Okay? That's what they did. Everything changed. Okay? Now, if you said all of a sudden this ticker pops up, right? This ticker pops up and that's what it says that it is. It says this is the Torch preferred share, right? But the legacy shares that I have over here just stay the same and do nothing, then I'd be a little sketchy on this. That's not what happened here. When this came out, this original legacy numbers changed to the exact same thing. The exact same thing. The ticker, the exact same thing. The QSIP numbers, the exact same thing. All of it was exactly the same. My legacy shares held the same price as this. They didn't just magically make the match. They created this as this. They created it from this. They made these into this. It's not separate. It's not separate at all. Okay? This is 1000% a violation of the law. Okay? There are fiduciary responsibilities here that somebody's going to have to take up. Okay? I touched on errors and omissions. This is an error, and I think at this point, it's an error on anybody, okay, or everybody that's going to ended up trading this, okay? If you ended up allowing this traded, okay, you have a fiduciary response. Why is all the DD responsibility only put on us as retail investors? Oh, you have to do your DD. Well, why does the broker who has a fiduciary responsibility to you not have to do DD on this and protect you? And I'm talking legit brokers. We're talking about freaking Fidelity here, okay? Fidelity is a legit broker. And somebody wants to say, oh, well, you had to call in, and people were calling in. When they got flooded with that, and they got flooded with those phone calls, they made it tradable on the app. At that point, if they smelt fraud, they should have they had a fiduciary responsibility as a broker. As your broker, if they smelt fraud, they had a fiduciary responsibility to stop it right there. Why would they, if they smelt any fraud, why would they put the buy button back on the app? Why? It's craziness. Don't let this go. There's complaint forms out there. There's examples of complaint forms. Fill out the complaint forms, okay? I get it. People are going to go, it's not going to do anything. It's better than doing nothing. It's better than doing nothing, and I think by now the SEC is involved in this. I would almost guarantee the SEC is involved in this. Is there a possibility they do nothing? I don't think so. I think all shares have to be reconciled in this case. This is the greatest example of losing the game and attempting to take your ball and go home. Well, I think the market makers are about halfway up the block to home. But I think when they get a little further, the SEC is going to step in and say, get your ass back to the court. Let the winners be the winners and the losers be the losers. You understood exactly what the risks were of doing this. You understood what the risks were of doing this, that you were going to have to cover your short position, and you know the risks in shorting a stock. Finance 101, baby. They didn't teach you that at Harvard. Infinite risk. Infinite risk. Okay? Absolute craziness. I'm trying to think. I tell everybody to, and this is what I brought up earlier, go to the FINRA website and look up RegBI, R-E-G-B-I, Regulation Best Interest, okay? Regulation Best Interest. This is supposed to be for us. This is their regulation. Their regulation. Okay? This is not in the best interest of shareholders. And if people want to say, oh, they stopped it because there were no buyers and it was just going to continue down to go sub-penny. Guess who the fucking buyers were supposed to be? The minimum of 6.5 million shorts. At minimum. At minimum. But we know now, brokers have said the damn float was oversold 2x. So where's the other 165 million in volume that closed? Show us that. They want to come up with a number and settle this thing. That's probably, in my opinion, what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to open this thing back up. I think opening it back up is just going to create fucking panic selling off of Jump Street. People are going to be like, fuck this. Let me out of here. Negotiate a number. Come up with a number. or give us 5 days. Let the panic sellers panic in the beginning. But those shorts have to be covered, and it 100% has to be position close only. Don't let anybody else manipulate it. Let it. You want it. You want to see a free and fair market? Here you go. 165 million and 165 million over. Okay, that's it. 165 million have to be bought and 165 million have to be sold. Let that play out. Now we can look at it, any red candles, and say, that's people selling. That is people selling. Why? Because we're not going to fucking allow shorting on it. You want to see organic activity? Make it position close only. Let's see it. Let it go up to $10 and watch 5 million shares go away. Okay, cool. That's cool. And for people sitting here saying, you weren't buying at $8-9, I bought a nice position at I think $8.90, $8.80, $8.90, somewhere in there. Okay. And then for the people who want to say, keep buying at $8.90, fuck you, man. I did the math. I think it's worth at least $60 a share. Why would I not at $60 a share? Okay. Basically 6x my money. 6x my money. Why wouldn't I? If my math says it's worth $60 a share, well, what if you're wrong? What if it's only worth $20 a share? Okay, cool. So then I 2.5x my money. Okay? Or I ended up with stock in a big oil company 3 years from now, 2 years from now, 6 months from now. This thing could have been sold anywhere from 3 months after this was over to 3 years after this was over. Okay? Nobody knows when it would have been sold. But the fact remains, if you do the math on what they have down there, you would understand. People just looking at the books and looking at the financial statements don't get it. They don't get it. Metamaterials had already put out. You want to talk about what they put out? Everybody talked about the 3.2 billion barrels. That's not even the total possibilities. That's just taking the aggregate. Take it down to the low end, which was like 2.7. 2.7, it's still worth $30 a share. I'll fucking 3x my money. That's fine too. Oh, by the way, the opportunity to hold money or hold shares in a big oil company and get dividends down the road. You think all these multi-gazillionaires got all their dividend stocks when they were in the hundreds and hundreds of dollars? No, my friends. No. There's people that got that in at the bottom floor. That's what you fucking dream of doing, is getting in at the bottom floor. If I'd only known about Amazon. So 10 years from now, Torch is a $200 stock, okay, or NextBridge is a $200 stock. Then you got all these people going, I wish I would have gone in on the ground floor of NextBridge. Well, that's what we were all doing. But now, because FINRA wants to allow one-sided trading, boy, no one ever talked about this even being a possibility. They took away the sell button. That's what they did. Not the buy button this time. They took away the sell button. I don't know, again, what's going to happen. I don't know where this is going to go. But I said it the other day, and I'll say it again. I do not think this is over. I really don't. I don't think that FINRA is going to get this out of the public eye. I know that there was an article written, and they're like, oh, retail investors are angry, and they're hashtagging people like Elon Musk and Adam Aaron. I heard somebody say the other day, or it might be in my meta chat on Facebook, which all you guys are awesome. Love you all. And that's in the private group chat I'm talking about. Somebody mentioned Joe Rogan. do that. I will say this. Here's what needs to happen. Okay? There needs to be a group of people who are knowledgeable in this situation, okay, and can talk reasonably about it with factual information that would be going over there. John Berta should be on Rogan, and pick one influencer that should go on with him. Tony Market Moves, I would probably say that guy and or Roller Pigeon. One of those two, I think both would probably be best to explain what happened here. John Berta needs to go on, bring this. You want to make it public? You want to make this stock market shit public? Let's get it on Rogan. You want to get it out to a gazillion people where the mainstream media is not going to let you have it? I don't know who's got connections to Joe Rogan, but if you got connections to Joe Rogan, maybe make a phone call. In a country where you can find Alex Jones civilly guilty, and I forget what the settlement number was, or the number they said he had to pay out. $1 trillion or some crazy shit? $1 trillion? Come on. You can't take care of a problem that you let these guys get into? This is going to be less than $1 trillion. I can tell you that. In a country where baseball players are getting contracts worth over almost $500 million, pretty damn close. Okay? You can't take care of this problem? Craziness. You know, on the speculation side of things, people are saying, "Oh, you're playing in speculative stocks." You know, it was a speculative company when Shaquille O'Neal bought it. The Ring doorbell. Okay, a Ring doorbell was speculative. I'm sure there were people telling him he was an idiot. Oh, that's a horrible idea. It's on every freaking new construction house that's going up right now. And there's a shit ton of them. So how genius was that guy? People told him he was wrong. At the end of the day, there is a fiduciary responsibility by the regulators here. Okay? The regulators have to enforce the fiduciary responsibility of the brokers. This is what FINRA is there for. You have to now, since you are caught, do the right thing and enforce the rules. Make them close their short positions. It is what it is. There's no other way around it. There's no other way around it. You allowed this thing to go through with bogus paperwork that showed double the float, which may or may not have been an influence on why they allowed it to go to begin with. Okay? You let them bring false information, then we know for a fact, John Berta said that the company went and said, listen, they used false information. And they basically told Berta and the company to kick rocks. Where is the responsibility, the due diligence responsibility of FINRA to make sure that the numbers these two market makers are bringing to them are facts? You want to talk about fraud? This is what? Fraud of two market makers on FINRA? If that's the case, FINRA has insurance. Errors and omissions insurance. You let something go through that was false information. Okay? False information. Encourage everybody to go look at Reg Buy on the FINRA website. Also, check out the Department of Labor fiduciary rule. Okay? I understand that it says in there it was pulled and it's been a shit show to get it reinstated. From what I understand, okay, from my friend with securities licenses 626, 63, and 51. Big shout out to Yoda for this information, okay? That this is 100% still in effect. 100% on them. So look at this stuff. Don't go away quietly. Don't listen to the FUD. Keep your heads up. Let's see what happens. There's some really good people out there putting out some really good information. Always listen to both sides. Try to figure out where the shit is and where the facts are. Okay? And that's what we're hoping to do on this side of things. That's what I'm hoping to do, is just bring more facts. That's it for me. I appreciate everybody's time. I appreciate all the views on the last one. Throw more questions in there and I will do it. I want to end this by saying, somebody threw in the comments, they were in a deep dark place. I immediately felt that big time and put the suicide hotline number in there in the comments. If you are in need to talk to somebody, I encourage you to do that. Do not take desperate measures when they're unnecessary. Please talk to somebody. Suicide prevention is very, very strong to me. So talk to somebody if you need it. There's links to the number all over the internet, and I'll leave it at that. Everybody have a good night. I appreciate everybody's help, and I will try to be back with more tomorrow if we get some type of an announcement. I'm hoping the company comes out with something tomorrow. Too many people have believed in this company for them to turn their backs on us now. So George, give us some news, bro. All right, everybody have a good night.